this increase, home values continue to be at all-time highs, allowing you to take advantage of your home's equity to pay off high-interest credit card debt, saving you hundreds or even thousands a month. Or finally completing that dream remodel you've been putting off for years. Refinancing your home can be stressful. Let us help you simplify the process. Call us today. Our average refinance closes in less than 14 days. It's never been easier.
Call for your free quote today. 916-970-9881. That's 916-970-9881.
Thanks to 6 million supporters who have our back, we've been able to respond to the pandemic around the world. We are Doctors Without Borders.
Dog bite specialists, slip and fall teams of lawyers. Expert lawyers are standing by to take your call. Call them right now at 916-545-7772 and discuss your case. It's always free to call. 916-545-7772. Get the compensation you deserve and pay nothing unless they win. Call them right now, 916-545-7772. Remember, when the insurance company says no, it's their job to get them to say yes. Get the compensation you deserve regardless of your legal status. Call now, 916-545-7772.
We're ready for a winter pick-me-up with an extra 20% off when you use your coupon or Macy's card. Or shop incredible specials like 30 to 40% off designer handbags and 65% off coats to finish the season in style for him and for her. And get 1,400 thread count sheets for just $39.99. Plus, Macy's Star Rewards members earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. See Macys.com/Star Rewards. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Your body wash? Try Olay Body Wash infused with skincare super ingredient collagen. Olay Body Wash with collagen hydrates to renew skin surface cells, improving skin 3 times better versus the leading body wash to transform skin from dry and dull to firm and radiant. So I can step into my day feeling fearless in my skin. And now try new Olay Body Lotion, which hydrates for healthier looking skin that improves over time. Olay Body.
And home internet will never be the same. Say hello to 5G Home. Wireless internet on 5G ultra wideband. Now in your neighborhood. Like at Kelsey's just down the block.
One sec, in the middle of the game.
Ultra fast speeds and ultra low lag. Great for gaming.
And streaming it all to my followers.
All right, Kelsey. And moving on down the street to Tom. Just moved to town and killing it with the ultra simple self setup. Just plug, play, and done. Super easy now making crab cakes. Voila. Swinging around the corner to Susie. Oh, sorry to interrupt your binge-a-thon, Susie. You know, there's no annual contracts or extra fees. The price is the price, guaranteed.
Yeah, it's amazing. No,
Sorry. Oh, I love this part, by the way. 5G home internet is here. Plans start at just $25 per month with select 5G mobile plans. That's 50% off. Verizon is going ultra, so you can too. 5G ultra wideband available in select areas. $25 a month for 5G home or $35 a month for 5G home plus internet plans with 5G do more, 5G play more, 5G get more mobile plans. With auto pay and paper-free billing required. Subject to Verizon agreements and credit approvals.
Packed with ad-free music, plus comedy, news, talk, Howard Stern, live sports, and more. Create personalized Pandora stations and dive into the best collection of podcasts curated just for you. So download the SXM app now, try it out, and enjoy all the great entertainment we have to offer free.
Stores. Take home tender and succulent USDA choice Rayleigh's boneless London broil. California raised from Harris Ranch and on sale for only $3.97 a pound. Plus, get a pound of juicy strawberries or 6 ounces of fresh raspberries, blackberries, or blueberries for just $2.49 each when you buy 2 or more. Enjoy savings on the finest ingredients in store and online from Rayleigh's and Bel Air.
Vaccines teach our cells how to fight COVID-19. And just like other vaccines, COVID-19 boosters help keep our immunity strong. Share the facts, not the virus. Find a vaccine near you at myturn.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
You do you. You are looking at the new face of HBCU baseball, Damon Sands.
And find the power to fight for what matters.
What if I'm not good enough? Basically, you're scared every damn day, bro.
The highly anticipated new series.
Never let anything keep you from your dream.
Go hard or we go home.
All-American Homecoming, premiering tonight on the CW.
We created 102 reasons to switch to a Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro this year. The first 100 reasons, you'll get $100 to switch. Yep, $100. Reason 101, we'll track down every last tax credit so you get every dollar you deserve. 102, We guarantee your biggest refund. Want to discover Reason 103? Book an appointment at a participating location near you and get credit for everything you do. Offer ends March 6th. Available at participating retail locations for new clients only. Mention this ad when filing. Terms apply. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for details.
USAA has your back with budget-friendly coverage options, so you can keep on keeping on while they help protect the ones that matter most to you. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. Visit usaa.com/life to get started. Life insurance and annuities provided by USAA Life Insurance Company, San Antonio, Texas. All insurance products are subject to state availability, issue limitations, and contractual terms and conditions.
It's possible at Staples.
I need my presentation printed, bound, and perfect.
Also possible with Staples Print Big Promise. Your small business marketing will make a big impact. And right now, get 20% off custom printed signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 2/26. Visit staples.com/signage for details.
Credit Karma is here to help you make those big calls with more confidence. Whether you're refinancing credit card debt or paying for an upcoming expense, Karma Confidence technology automatically identifies loans that you're most likely to get approved for. Head to creditkarma.com/loan offers to see your approval odds right now. Go to creditkarma.com/loan offers to find the loan for you. That's creditkarma.com/loan offers.
Happy. Look down! Whoa, whoops, don't look down. She's kinda happy. And you're the happiest of them all. That's because there's an infinity and beyond number of things to do here. Which means there's an infinity and beyond ways you can be happy. Where are you at, Happy? Oh, there you are, next to Grumpy. Spoiler, he's actually happy. So get your MICKEYHAPPY on with some ears on. Make Happiest your middle name. Hey, it's ours too. And hold on to the seat of your Millennium Falcon. Because this place has all the happy you never knew could exist. So you're a new kind of happy every time you visit. Welcome to your happiest place on earth. Only at the Disneyland Resort. Both ticket and park reservation required. Visit Disneyland.com for important details.
Jackpots echo throughout. And the thrill of it all is thunderous. Thunder Valley Casino Resort, where more than 3,000 slots, 100 table games, all new bingo and poker rooms, blend with award-winning dining. And AAA Ford Diamond Luxury, winning big makes a sound all its own. Thunder Valley Casino Resort, live out loud. Gambling problem, call 800-522-4700.
We brought in this fleet of monster trucks. Now that's power! Get powerful nationwide 5G on all plans at no extra charge. Plus a Cricket Dream 5G phone free when you switch. Tastes like power too. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Must bring your number to Cricket on a $60 a month plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
But luckily for you,
Whoa, is that McDonald's?
there's always someone around
And you got extras?
to help take it off your plate.
Yeah, I like some.
There's a deal for every helping hand at McDonald's. Like our 20-piece Chicken McNuggets for just $5. Or get 40-piece Chicken McNuggets for the whole family. And pair it with an any-size Dr. Pepper for just $1. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Soft rock. Or classic rock. R&B. Hip-hop. Or house. Country. Techno. Or techno-country. But no matter what kind of music you listen to,
let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Charlton of Big C Sports. Coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. According to people who love sports, that includes me. I wanted to say, what a beautiful day. Bienvenidos, Guando Deportes, Bonjour, de Vini Vici. Welcome to the show. Today is a beautiful President's Day, otherwise known as February 21st, 2022. I'm telling you, what a day. It's been what a day. Oh, my goodness. Oh, what a day. It's almost 100 degrees in California. Or maybe I'm just having too much hot coffee. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. You go by and test drive yours. Just tell them Charlton Big C Sports Center, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars. Also, all around the universe. I'm telling you, all around the universe, because it's true. All around the universe, you can follow Big C Sports on 23 podcast applications. 23, not one, not two, not three, but 23 podcast applications. You can follow us. Big C Sports Podcast. It's amazing how it's just growing leaps and bounds. I'm telling you so much. It's funny. When I started, there was only one platform. But when I say on President's Day, that's up to 23 podcast applications for Big C Sports Podcast. Really does. It's a touching thing for me. Really do appreciate that. As I say, come on, let me tell you how you find Big C Sports Podcast. You can give me some praise. I know it's a holiday. It's a holiday, but you can still give it praise on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeart-Radio-Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, and then number 10, that would be Podchaser. Give me some praise for counting to 10. It's not as easy as it sounds. You think it's easy? You try counting to 10 sometimes. When the whole universe can know if you know how to count. That's the hard part about it. You can follow Gio Savon out of London, England. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line Podcast. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast. Also, allfeeds.ai. Give it some praise. The computers are taking over. I said the robots are taking over like HAL 2001 A Space Odyssey. You can follow Big C Sports. So many applications. Really do appreciate that. I'm also very happy to say you can follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming on 4 TV applications: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon, and Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. Get out the break. Come on now. TV and podcast. Love bringing it to us on a beautiful President's Day. Going to talk about President's Day. Why is it President's Day? Everybody should feel like the president someday. But I love paying homage to my family legacy. And on my mother's side, my great-grandmother called her Mama, the matriarch of the family. As I was growing up, just a wonderful, wonderful, sweet woman. Made sure everybody stayed together through thick and thin and always gave us lots of love. My beautiful grandfather, Pop, a former Negro League baseball player, also known for making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. And known for saying, boys, get out of that barn. You don't want to get struck by lightning. It made me laugh. We used to go into that barn and try to get the moonshine out and give it to the dogs and replace the moonshine with water. He always knew. All's friend, Leavenworth, former Negro League baseball player, just a wonderful, wonderful person. And then my grandmother called her Mud Dia, another wonderful, intelligent, hardworking woman, just did everything to keep the family strong. A seer can look at someone and tell you everything about them or most things about them, still benefit from her wisdom to this day. And then my grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful person doing everything possible to keep the family strong. And then my beautiful mother, known as the best mother in the history of the universe, started a Head Start program, a food program, and helped win the Little League Championship of the universe. Give Mama praise. Give Mama praise, praise, praise. I'm telling you about it. Only woman in the Head Start that started the Head Start program, and then a food program, working with the church, and then helped win a Little League Championship of the universe. Only woman coach in the league. And many people said, I will not have my kid listen to one of them. And she said, quick. And I always appreciate that. Just really appreciate everything Mama always saying, rise and shine. And then on my father's side, the patriarch of the family, Albert Curry, had 2 churches in Oakland, built the 3rd one in Central California, also owned 2 service stations in Oakland, California. Really do appreciate, hardworking, very intelligent. Again, when he got the service stations, for black men to own anything, oftentimes there was a lot of shenanigans he had to go through, but he did it. Really proud of his ability to be prescient and stick to it. My grandmother, Alberta Curry, worked hand in hand with my grandfather, Albert Curry, with the churches in Oakland, also in Central California, and then running the service stations, always keeping the family strong, doing everything to make sure that's possible. My father, former retired Air Force fighter pilot and chief mechanic and of the Air Force, and making sure that planes could fly high so we could all stay safe at night. And my beautiful brother Todd, with his bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak, always saying go forward. Todd, our favorite movie was Pulp Fiction. I think about it oftentimes when I watch sports. When Vin Rames told Bruce Willis, your butt goes down in the 4th round. He said, that stinging sensation you're feeling, that's pride flipping with you. Fluff pride. See, I pulled it off. I knew I pulled it off. Really do appreciate that. Always going forward. Really love honoring my beautiful daughter, Daisy, college graduate, graduated with honors with 2 degrees in 3.5 years from a major university. Daisy actually helped me set up my first interview at Salem Media, and then would help me set up when coaches would come to the West Coast and get paraphernalia for Big C Sports. Really do appreciate Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. And then my son, Malcolm, very proud of Malcolm, a college student, very smart, hardworking, industrious kid. I always tell Malcolm one of his favorite movies is Black Panthers, Wakanda Forever. Never let anybody stand between you and your family. At the same time, Malcolm sends me stats oftentimes on NBA basketball, knows NBA stats inside and out, and really do appreciate what he's done to help me with Big C Sports Podcast. Always rise and shine, always rise and shine. And then Big C, with all his wealth of knowledge in the past, you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. I want to give everybody some praise. Give everybody praise, 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 because we all need praise. All fair and love and war. I also want to say some of the things that make me so happy in life is the fact that I heard this thing that I always say with the show now. I heard it when my grandfather was in the barn with his church buddies. He would say, let's get ready to rumble. Oh, welcome to the show. FB nominated Big C Sports Podcast. no scripts, no three-way prompters, and no producer in my ear. And I never loop my shows. You get it fresh, like fresh cookies out of the oven. I know a lot of sports shows, they'll do a one show, and then they'll loop it 3 or 4 times throughout the day. And to me, you only get one show. It's fresh every day. It's fresh out of the oven. Like my mother, when she would run the restaurants, was always fresh out of the oven. I always produce the show. I produce the topics, and I broadcast the shows. The sound effects are provided by what's provided by the agency. We can all use more laughter in life. I was told by a good psychic friend today, smile more. All fair and love and war. And smiling, everybody got to smile. It's a good medicine. Laughter is good medicine. And then the commercials done by the agency, the stats providing, the storytelling, the play-by-play. And I think I prophesied it over the weekend. Steph Curry for 3. Isn't that something? That good boy set a record at the NBA All-Star Game. We're going to talk about that also coming up on Big C Sports Podcast. And then I upload the show. It goes out to 23 podcast applications and then 4 TV platforms. Big C Sports may be coming to Sirius XM satellite soon. Really do appreciate the growth happening with Big C Sports Podcast. Started Big C Sports September 12, 2015. Never missed a show. Never missed a show. Always rising and shining. And as I think one of the only sports shows, in my opinion, everybody has their own opinion, only sports show in the history of the universe that always honors God. I know they're atheists too, but I'm not trying to please everybody. But one of the favorite verses when I grew up, I heard oftentimes was Genesis chapter 13, verse 15. And it said, for all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever. And the book of James chapter 4, verse 2 said, ye have not because you ask not. If you want something, just ask and give asking some praise. You got to give it praise. Don't be afraid to ask. The answer is either yes or no. Always got to ask for what you want. And sometimes all you need is God to give you that yes one time. I also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, God said, let there be light. Open your cell phone or electronic devices and say, play Big C Sports Podcast, and you will see the app pop up all over the world. All over the earth. In fact, as I'm going to tell you, you'll hear it all over the universe. Really do appreciate that because it's real. I'm not making this stuff up. Just a lot of good things have been happening with Big C Sports Podcast. Also, if I look at the Forbes sports agents, I'm telling you, Forbes magazine, look at it for some of the top sports agents over the last decade. And in 2021, sports agencies, the contracts totaled over over $40.1 billion. Isn't that something? That's a lot of money. And the top sports agent brought in over $160 million for his agency. And that's in 1 year. That's not his lifetime. That's in 1 year. And most of that money made on signing black athletes with NFL and NBA contracts. There's also baseball and soccer, but it's out there. We hear a lot about name, image, and likeness. I want to really appreciate one of the top attorneys in the country, sports agents, that invited Big C Sports to get certified to become a sports marketing agent. That'll be done this year in 2022. Just really do appreciate it. It's like being recruited by the NFL. But as he says, Charlton, everybody's complaining about black coaches not getting an interview for a job where they may make $3 million to $5 million a year. And that's called maybe a high salary, a high contract, $3 million, $5 million. I think Nick Saban makes $10 million for Alabama. But NFL coaches don't make as much as college coaches. And think about that. And then the top sports agency in 2021 made over $160 million. That's about 150 more than Nick Saban for coaching Alabama. So why are so many men clamoring to become the next coach so you can make $3 million or $5 million? And ironically, just like me, he was recruited in to the agency by another African-American man, another black man that said, wait a minute, man, let me tell you where the real money is. As I tell you, watching the NBA All-Star game out of Cleveland, that's for you. Watching that in Cleveland and all the ceremonies leading up to the All-Star game, there's so many people that want to be the next All-Star player. Even talk about LeBron James wants his son to become an NBA basketball player. And when you think about it, LeBron James' contract supposedly somewhere around $40 million a year. I mean, he has a lot more things going on than that. But his agent, Rich Paul, made over $46 million. Didn't have a jump shot. Didn't shoot a three-point play. Didn't shoot a three-point play. Didn't score a touchdown. Didn't do any of that. And you'll hear a lot about it now because maybe there's some rumblings that maybe LA won't be his final place to retire from. And I hear some good old boys saying, oh, his agents are asking for too much money. His agents are, they're trying to just be reckless. They're just being selfish. And Rich Paul made $46 million last year. Maybe more than that. Black men. And then we have NFL coaches saying, we can't get a job. They won't even interview us. It's like, my goodness. What would you rather have? A $3 to $5 million a year job coaching NFL football, have a winning record and get fired after 2 years or after 3 years with a winning record? Or would you rather be one of the top sports agents representing multiple athletes and make $46 million? Think about it. It's like, the bell rings for class. And I think there's a sea change happening for black men. Because last year, with the NFL draft, I may be wrong about it, but of the top 10 drafts in the NFL draft for 2021, people have gotten smart. Black men represented half of them. And they were not being denied an NFL coaching job. They were not trying to say, well, man, I put in my time. I've had the offensive and defensive coordinator opportunities, and I've helped the Kansas City Chiefs get to the AFC Championship game 4 years in a row. I turned the Miami Dolphins around from a bad franchise to having a winning record in just 3 years. They didn't have to do that. And it's funny because one time Michael Jordan said the ceiling is the roof. People laughed about it. But he has so much money, maybe it went over everybody's head. Because if you think about it, the sea change that's happened in my own spirit. When you do good work, people notice. I've always heard when you're ready, the teacher will come. If you're not ready, the teacher won't come. How will the teacher know that you're ready when the teacher shows up? Whether it's God, whether it's some esoteric thought, whether it's some omnipresent viewpoint, it's out there. When you're ready, the teacher will come. Because when I think about the money in this business, the world's leading sports agents closed over $41.2 billion in contracts in 2021. $2 billion in commissions. Not getting into their names, You can Google their names. And most of them did it by signing young black athletes to a contract. It's a sea change. And as it was told to me, I interviewed some sports agents back in 2018 for a TV program. And one of the guys that I interviewed was actually in the Olympics in 2021 in Tokyo, Japan. And he remembered. He was playing Big C Sports throughout the Olympic Village in 2021. He told me that. And I'm just saying, people notice when you keep doing things. That's why give Rising and Shining some praise. Give it praise, praise, praise. It doesn't matter what people say about you. God has plans for everybody. You in God. You don't need people. Put your faith in God. Don't worry about people. And so I wanted to bring that up. Also want to say thank you to the California Lottery and the Fantasy 5, the Mega Millions, the Super Lotto, Powerball, all of that stuff. When you know people going through issues with gambling, the Supreme Court made it legal to gamble all over the country for most states. And if you have any issues, Steve Mariucci, former coach for the 49ers, I remember when Terrell Owens caught the touchdown pass against the Green Bay Packers, it was at Candlestick Park. I was in the press box next to John Madden and Pat Summerall. And I remember, if you think about it, if Steve Young went back to pass, found Owens over the middle of his caught for the touchdown! Touchdown, San Francisco! And there was an announcer by the name of Joe Starkey going, Owens, 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 Owens. That was the radio feed. But John Madden was saying, oh. You think they do this for their money? You think they don't love this game? And I remember when Terrell Owens went to the sideline, he kind of collapsed in Steve Mariucci's arms because he was happy. And it just took me back to being in the press box. I was right there when that play happened at Candlestick Park. So Big C Sports didn't just happen 6 years ago. It's going into 7 years now. There's a lot of things that led up to it. And so when Mariucci was on the NFL Network, that promo, if you have anyone going through issues, pick up the phone, call 800-GAMBLER. That's 800-GAMBLER. Get people some help because people are going through issues. It's all fair and love and war. I also love, let me also say, I want to pay homage. Give 800-GAMBLER some praise. Give it praise, praise, praise. If you know anybody going through some issues, get them some help. Really do appreciate that. Also, I want to say the Veterans Crisis Hotline, they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. For our veterans who serve this country on this beautiful President's Day, think about our veterans also. If you know people going through issues, pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net, and you can make sure you get our veterans some help and give our Veterans Crisis Hotline some praise. Come on, give it praise, praise, praise. Everybody needs somebody to lean on. Never forget that when Terrell Owens leaned on Coach Mariucci, it was tears of joy that they had just beaten the Green Bay Packers, all fair level work. I also want to say thank you to Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% honest game. Sports fans, when you're watching the big game, you want to eat the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's all that exotic. Also, coming soon, which I'm going to get some after the show, the Big C coffee. It comes in one size extra large. The best part of waking up is Big C in your cup. Why the cup gotta be so big? Jerry Jones told Steve Crockett, why the stadium gotta be so big? The SoFi Stadium, Southern California. Why did the stadium have to be so big? Oh, fair. Oh, man, life's funny. But I tell you, life is funny. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, I'm going to talk about the NBA All-Star Game in the words of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe. And streaming on 4 TV applications. Really do appreciate that. You know, I always go Steph Curry for 3. He does his thing. Very prescient. That good old boy went back to Cleveland. He said, this is for you. The 2022 NBA All-Star Game. They said Curry, when I woke up this morning, I kept hearing Curry for three. And people were cheering. And I had a dream last night. My last name was Curry. And I said, look at me, Curry for three. It was me. It was me being the one hitting those winning shots. It was me saying Curry for three. I kept seeing it over and over in my mind. I tried not to keep waking up because I heard the crowd going, Curry for three. Yes. Then I realized I was just laying in bed. But it was still good to feel that because I couldn't make this stuff up. I do a lot of my Pro Bowls on Curry for three. Of course, he's an all-time NBA three-point champion. But to go back and do it in Ohio where he grew up, where he was born, in the same hospital with LeBron James. LeBron James hit the game-winning shot, but Curry won the MVP. He went for 50 points. So some people don't like the slam dunk competition. Man, I've seen some guys dunk so many times just growing up in the playgrounds. So it's hard to live up to that. It was a 163 to 160 final score with LeBron James knocking down the final basket to win the game. And it's just amazing the way the game played. But what I love is we get to see it out here in the Bay Area a lot. I'm going to be doing covering more Golden State Warriors games coming up here in Northern California with the NBA. Baseball, they're trying to figure out if they don't want to play at all. It's crazy about that. But NBA, Steph Curry, an all-time show, an all-time performance in the 75th year of the Golden State Warriors. And they had the NBA's 75 players, best players, a salute. And Steph Curry lit it up. I mean, it was almost, it's like when you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. But when you think about it, he had an all-star game record, 16 three-point baskets, and knocked down 50 points. So it wasn't just my dream when I heard Steph Curry for three, because I kept hearing that in my dream. And I did the preview of the show going into the All-Star game last Friday. It's just something that I keep saying I won. If that's going to work, I'm saying Curry won the lottery too. $50 million, whatever it is, $100 million. Charlton Curry in the front of it. Steph Curry already has that money. But I think about it. It's an all-time show. It was an amazing performance. 16 three-pointers. Again, it's more for exhibition. It's not like they had someone trying to contest every shot. But to make 16 three-pointers amazing and took home the first Kobe Bryant All-Star Game MVP trophy as Team LeBron, who's undefeated now in the All-Star Games. And, I mean, LeBron James, that good old boy is doing his thing also, had a walk-off jumper. And they beat Team Durant. Of course, Kevin Durant didn't play in the game. It was a 163 to 160 win. And it was just an amazing display of some of the top talent in NBA basketball. So I think about what Steph Curry taught everybody is what we've seen a lot here in Northern California. Remember, he came out of Davidson College. He wasn't a power blue blood college. Even a game where nobody was playing a lot of defense, we know it as part is exhibition. To watch Curry do what he did, it was just amazing because they had the NBA greats there. When you think about that, I mean, to me, to have, Bill Russell around, 11 NBA championships, maybe you could say the patriarch of NBA championships with 11, that would kind of be like having Babe Ruth at a baseball all-star game, even though baseball players and they can't get it together. I guess they need more money. But think about that. He did it in front of some all-time greats. And he's done it a lot out here, but never 16 three-pointers. And again, it's an exhibition game. But he knocked down 16 three-point baskets. And the previous record was 9 by Paul George back in 2016. Paul George out of beautiful Lancaster, California, went to Fresno State. Now doing his thing as King George for the LA Clippers. But when you look at the distance on the shots that Curry was able to do, he's practiced that all the time. And so Curry and LeBron, wouldn't that be something if LeBron decided to retire with the Golden State Warriors? Not enough basketball to go around. But when you think about it, Curry, oh my goodness. I know he never played for Cleveland, but he was born in Ohio. He and LeBron born in the same hospital. Isn't it something that he and LeBron got the same trophies? This is probably the last time that Cleveland will host the All-Star game for the next 20 years. I think the last time they had done it was 1997 that Cleveland held the All-Star game. I could be wrong about the date or the year. But in 20 years from now, they'll probably be retired. Maybe. But when you think about it, Curry, he's won 3 championships over the Cleveland Cavaliers. But there's something about watching him play. He's so focused, and I just appreciate the hard work that he puts into it. It's amazing. So many athletes, they say game recognizes game, and so he got a lot of accolades just for that. And when you think about how good he's been, he's unbelievable. He's going to keep climbing that ladder. And even though he's not as big and imposing as LeBron James, Steph Curry is kind of like Barry Bonds was when Barry Bonds was hitting home runs. When I remember Barry Bonds going for the 73, the pitch, struggle, hit deep, right field, back, home run. Say hello to my little friends. Girls love the long ball, men love to hit deep. That's what Barry Bonds was doing for the San Francisco Giants. And to see what Steph Curry's doing for the Golden State Warriors, it's just amazing. It's amazing to see that. And so for young kids, obviously it wasn't technical basketball, it's all-star basketball. I really appreciate that. Now, LeBron James did not have a great shooting night. In fact, he missed 9 of his 11 three-pointers and finished well under 50% from the field. But he had a bunch of uncontested layups and dunks. And again, it's an exhibition game. But he had a great fadeaway to seal the game. If you want to complain about anything, I didn't like the gray jerseys. But I just thought, what a game. To see 16 three-point baskets, that's amazing. Remember, the record was 9 by Paul George. And Steph Curry kind of got exhausted down the stretch. But it was just an amazing thing for the NBA. And then I think about what the fans were able to do. A lot like Michael Jordan. That was not lost on LeBron James, who spoke at length after the game about the influence that Jordan had on him as a young kid and eventually as an NBA player. And the game-winning shot, a fadeaway like Jordan did against the Utah Jazz. And if you love basketball the way I do, it's just amazing to see so much talent on the court. And when they celebrated the NBA greats, the guys who paved the way, and to see that, I just feel that so much is happening in the sports world. Sports can unite people. I mean, it's cathartic for a lot of people to get away from things that bog you down in life. But when I think about it, that game was about sportsmanship. It's about seeing great players. It's about getting to just share the floor with some of the greatest players that have ever played the game. To me, that's amazing. And I'm very proud to be able to cover sports, NBA basketball with Big C Sports. I did my first NBA All-Star game back in 2000. It was at the Oracle Arena at the Oakland Coliseum, the one where Vince Carter was hanging on the rim and the slam dunk contest. And so being a part of it for so many years, and I was doing it now for other networks, but now doing it for Big C Sports. It's just, I love the business, and I love how so many people have gotten the chance to see the greatness of all these great players that open the door for the young guys now. And when you think about another thing that I caught out, Ja Morant, that it's amazing. Ja Morant's going to be a great star also. I mean, what if Ja Morant was in the NBA slam dunk contest? What if LeBron James was in the slam dunk contest? Even Blake Griffin did his thing jumping over cars. But this is about guys. I mean, Spud Webb did his thing back in the day. Everybody has their own favorite, but I think Vince Carter is the best dunk I saw because he hung on the rim with his elbow. It's not like he jumped and hung on with the rim with his hands. His elbow was hanging. The inside of his elbow was hanging on the rim at the Coliseum in Oakland. To me, I love the NBA. I know some people say, well, we didn't have the best slam dunk contest this year. But it's amazing how you got guys like Trae Young who can knock it down from three. If there was a 4-point basket, he could shoot from there. But there's always that next crop of young players that are going to come along, and they're going to see the greats now like Steph Curry or LeBron James or Kevin Durant, and they're going to honor those players down the road. So I appreciate being able to see it now because these things, they're fleeting. You got to appreciate it every day, every single day, as you see people able to do what makes them happy, to do what they love in life, and realize that life is like an hourglass. Everybody is on an hourglass of life. And so I want to give the NBA All-Star Game some praise. Give it praise. The three-point shootout, slam dunk contest, the game, it was all amazing to me. I love the NBA. And thinking about Steph Curry, what he did, you can only praise so much about sports, but it really is something that I love the fact that we had that, and I just love to be a part of it. Love being a part of NBA basketball. It's something I've always loved. If you don't like NBA basketball, you just got to watch more of it. And so I love just being a part of it. But to me, it was special to see the greats of the NBA that did not have Sports Center. They didn't have the podcast that talk about it all the time. They didn't have everything that we have now. They had radio. And if they came on television, oftentimes it was just 1 or 2 games. Now you have so many other networks. You can follow the great players and see how it's done. And I mean, I love the game. It's amazing, the athleticism, to see how guys can just kind of defy gravity at times and take it to the basket. It's the hard work that goes into it, and it's a special moment for a lot of the players that were able to get out there and do it. It's just amazing. Steph Curry's amazing, and I think oftentimes, see, out here in the Bay Area, I had the chance to see Barry Bonds and even keep stats when Barry Bonds was playing for the Giants. The all-time Major League Baseball home run king, Barry Bonds. I grew up in an era where not only did I watch Barry Bonds, but I was able to keep stats for the San Francisco Giants. The pitch, swung on, hit these, right field, basketball, home run! Say hello to my little friend. I was able to keep stats on that. And then also, in San Francisco, to see the greatest receiver in the history of the NFL, maybe not the most talented, but the touchdown leader, in Jerry Rice. That was here in San Francisco. I remember being able to keep stats on Jerry Rice when I worked with Fox Sports at Candlestick Park when Jerry Rice was doing his thing. Oftentimes you would hear Steve Young up to the line, 4 wideouts, 5-man front by the Packers. The snap, Steve Young looking, rolling to his right, throws downfield, and it's caught! Caught for the touchdown! Touchdown! Jerry Rice, 30 yards! And being able to keep stats on that led into me doing what I'm doing now. I appreciate that. So being able to see Jerry Rice, keep stats on Jerry Rice and the 49ers back in the day, and being able to see Barry Bonds, keep his stats on Barry Bonds with the San Francisco Giants back in the day, and now being able to watch Steph Curry and cover the NBA with Steph Curry, that's a trifecta. Isn't that something? So I'm very honored to be able to see that and watch that happen. I mean, I just love the fact that there's so many great sports that are happening in Northern California, in the Bay Area, and being able to be a part of that since I was a little boy growing up and watching games. And I love the fact that it's just something that's always stuck with me. I want to also, as I come up on, so congratulations to all the great players. I want to give it praise one more time. The NBA All-Star Contest. What a game. What an exhibition. A display of talent. The history of the great players that make the NBA what it is today. May they all be healthy, wealthy, and wise. Really do appreciate the great job that was done there. Also, I want to get into Big C's college basketball, and I'm going to talk some about what happened with, Michigan's coach, Juwan Howard. Obviously, people have their own thoughts about it. And, it's like Juwan Howard got caught up in what happened with Indiana, where Bobby Knight was doing that kind of shenanigans. Bobby Knight used to throw chairs and grab players. I'm not making excuses for Juwan Howard. He's suspended, and he should be. He's suspended 5 games, which is the remainder of the season. If they make the tournament, then he'll be able to coach again. I'm not calling for the man's job. I remember when Tom Izzo grabbed a player or two in the tournament last year, and it was caught on camera, and then they made, it's just what coaches do. Coaches want to give you some tough love. I'm not saying they're the same thing, but I've seen Lou Holtz, the great Lou Holtz at Notre Dame, when he would grab players by the face mask and pull on it and slap them upside the helmet. Okay, maybe that's a different thing too. No one called for him to lose his job. But there's times when you go too far, and Howard went too far. For the Michigan Wolverines, he went way too far. But there's just things where you just can't do it. You just can't do it. So when you think about it, people can blame who they want to blame about what happened. Coaches bumping into each other. That's why they have a cooling off period in the NFL and also NBA. They don't take you off the floor unless they do the TV interview. They let you go to the locker room and have a cool down period. But Juwan Howard was wrong. When you're wrong, just admit it. He said he was defending his pride in an ugly scene. Okay, must pay for his actions. Of course, he's going to have to. But about a half hour later, Tom Izzo emerged and watched the end and the melee that happened on a cell phone. He was watching it. And he didn't know what happened at first. Wolverines coach Juwan Howard to confront Badgers coach Greg Gard and then hit the Wisconsin assistant. His name is Joe Krabenhoff. That was wrong. It's no room for it. Can't tolerate it. And obviously, Howard was wrong. No one's making excuses for him. That's something where you say, hey, I was wrong. He's going to have a big fine, suspended 5 games. And it's a learning lesson. It's not something to fire the man over. But he was wrong. That should not be tolerated at any level. I remember Woody Hayes for the Ohio State Buckeyes. They were playing Clemson way back in the day in a bowl game. And Woody Hayes had a player for Clemson running down the sideline, and Woody Hayes came out and clotheslined that football player. And there are times when some coaches were pretty rough on players back in the day. But you got to think about it. Some things are just wrong. You just can't do that. And he owes a big apology to his athletes. Because if athletes did that, then what would we have? Players get thrown out of games. Coaches get thrown out of games. You just can't do that. It's wrong. If you want people to respect you, you got to respect yourself enough to take the high road. You got to do that. Howard confronted Gard as they walked through the post-game handshake after the 77-63 Michigan loss, telling the Badgers coach, I remember this, blah-blah-blah, next time. And then Gard reached out, and then Gard touched Howard's arm. So, was he right touching his arm? Who knows how hard he touched it? Maybe. I'm not saying you shouldn't put your hands on anybody. So they both were wrong. He grabbed Howard by the arm and then said that he did as an attempt to try and explain. Coaches were heated. It was just the wrong thing to do. It was a bad look for the Big Ten also. And then Howard, don't you blankety blank touch me, and grabbed Gard by the shirt. Seconds later, Gard was moved away, and the former Wolverine star and NBA All-Star reached over a number of people to open-handedly slap him. Just can't do that. I've seen Lou Holtz, the coach at Notre Dame football, slap players on the helmet and grab them by the face mask. That was wrong then. It was wrong then, it's wrong now. Especially with players throwing punches and police stepping in to pull people away from each other. That's not sportsmanship. It's a bad situation. And it should never happen. No matter how frustrated. That's why they have security at games. It's not just to keep fans away from players, but sometimes coaches and players, they got to have, someone has to be the bigger person. And so Juwan Howard was wrong, and he should have been suspended, not fired, but suspended and fined. No one should have to put up with that crap. So he was wrong, and he owes the university and his players an apology. Somebody should have stepped in and stopped it. And the first person who should have stopped it was Howard himself. You can't blame somebody who I was disrespected. Yeah, the man grabbed him by the arm. Okay, that was wrong too. But slapping a man is even more egregious. Cooler heads will prevail. He's been suspended 5 games. And I just want to say that was a bad look for the University of Michigan. Shouldn't happen again. I'm going to take what's called the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. When I come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about some sports in the sports universe. All right, we're back on the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe and 4 TV applications streaming. Really do appreciate that. So again, I talked about the Howard situation. That was wrong. Should never, ever be tolerated. But I want to get into some brighter news. The NFL football universe. You have the Pittsburgh Steelers' decision to hire a man that they should have never had to even consider hiring. Brian Flores, Pittsburgh Steelers' decision to hire former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores as a senior defensive assistant linebackers coach. And I think it's a good thing. Obviously, he has the qualifications to be a head coach. He had a winning record. There's some coaches with losing records that did not get fired. Again, he was put in a pretty bad situation. You would get a bonus for throwing football games, fixing football games. That's the allegation against the Miami Dolphins. And there's, I think, 2 other teams that were bringing him in for interviews when they'd already hired some coaches trying to usurp the Rooney Rule. But it's about fairness, hiring Flores. I'm glad that the Rooneys decided to hire him. Mike Tomlin also has a lot to say about who gets hired on his staff. Everybody knows the NFL is trying to fix this issue with race and even gender. I heard Michelle Tafoya, who stepped aside from NFL football with NBC Sports, and rumor has it she took a slant at a Colin Kaepernick, saying that if he wanted a job, he could have a job, but he doesn't want a job. He wants to just be more of a political figure. Well, that would be as asinine as saying that women in the Me Too movement should just shut up and take it. As black men were told shut up and dribble, as she had that conversation with Laura Ingraham. And then you have Michelle Tafoya, who was able to work a game and make a fortune covering mostly black men. And how dare her to tell another black man that you don't have a right to try to speak about how to keep black men safe in our criminal justice system. But as a white woman who made a fortune covering black men, 75% of the NFL is black. And for her as a white woman, I don't know her personally, but I worked alongside her, Michelle Tafoya, many, many moons ago when the 49ers would do games in San Francisco and also in Oakland. But it's funny how you make a fortune by covering black men, and as soon as you get on a network that you feel you'll do better by shaming the people who help you get rich, shame on you. If you really have enmity toward black men, or someone saying they want to stand up for black men, why did you take the job in the NFL in the first place? Colin Kaepernick also stood up to help women. Even myself as Big C Sports. Oftentimes, you'll see people who are like Michelle Tafoya, who I've stood side by side with at football games covering NFL football the last time in San Francisco when NBC Sports was there, especially for the first home game with the Green Bay Packers and the 49ers. And she would walk up and down the sideline covering black men. And now as a white lady to get on television with another woman who Ingram, I think is her name, Laura Ingram, who tells black men to shut up and dribble. And here's Michelle Tafoya trying to take a slant. She can have whatever political belief she has. But if you have such enmity for men of color that help you make a fortune, then why did you take that job in the first place? Shame on you. Remember the next time a woman says it happened to me too? Michelle Tafoya works with a network now that has had men fired for sexual harassment. So tell those women, just shut up and take it. If you want to give your opinion. What a shame. Sometimes you don't know who people are until they really let themselves come out. But back to the Rooney Rule. The Rooney Rule bears, and I'm sure Michelle Tafoya disagrees with this rule too, the Rooney Rule bears the last name of a team owner, Art Rooney, who was a white man, and was essentially named after his father, Dan, when he was still running the team back in 2003. It was originally drafted with the intent of putting legitimate standards in place for NFL franchises to follow when it came to hiring and promoting people of color in the league's coaching ranks. And after firing by Miami and some other interviews where they already hired white men, I'm sure Michelle Tafoya didn't know about that, in other cities that he deemed to be dismissive, perfunctory. Flores filed a lawsuit against the NFL alleging racial discrimination and violations of federal employment law that I'm sure Michelle Tafoya knows nothing about either. It's amazing how so many people will say, I love you. Can I get the interview? I love you, man. Can I get your interview, man? And then when they get behind your back, they start saying whatever they can to try to be dismissive. Crazy. So be that as it may, I'm glad that Flores got the job and he didn't get ostracized from the league as many people thought he would. I think that the good thing about dialogue is you get to speak to people who don't agree with you. Everybody has their own opinion about things. But Flores had the Miami Dolphins go from 5-11 to 10-6 and make the playoffs to 9-8 in his 3 seasons as the Dolphins head coach. And they were on track to make the playoffs. I think they won up as many as 7 or 8 games in a row down the stretch. Imagine doing that with your owner of your team telling you he wants you to lose so you can move up in the draft. And there's a lot of coaches who did not have a 9-8 season this year that are still with NFL head coaching jobs. There are a lot of coaches who haven't even won 10 games in a season that are still coaching. Brian Flores got let go after having a winning record in 2 out of 3 seasons. The Miami Dolphins was such a bad team, and he brought them up. It's amazing. So the Steelers are going to be okay. They still got to find an offensive line, and they got to figure that out. But the thing I love about sports is sports allows you to disagree with someone and then find a better common ground. You don't have to always agree with people, and as people figure that out. So for Black History Month, I just want to be proud to say that I appreciate opportunities to see how the NBA All-Star Game was pulled off. It was amazing to pay homage to the great players of the past and have them doing their thing now. I still want to make sure that I give that some praise. Give it praise, praise, praise. Everybody deserves praise. Today is President's Day and the holiday. A lot of people took time off. As usual, Big C Sports is working. Never missed a day. Posting something on Big C Sports since starting September 12, 2015. So who does President's Day honor? Is it Washington or Lincoln? So people take a few moments to think about George Washington and Abraham Lincoln And in observing President's Day, people go out shopping, taking time out to do whatever makes them happy. I was out hitting some golf balls today. And when you think about the individual dates devoted to both of these famous presidents who remain among the most exalted to hold office and leading up to their birthdays, and students in schools often spend time learning about their accomplishments. And now we have President's Day, better known as the National Day of bargains for mattresses and appliances and televisions and more, and how you can go out and save money on the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with, what's all this exotic meat? Could you imagine if George Washington and President Abraham Lincoln had the Big C burger? They would say, it's a Big C burger, and it comes with, what's all this exotic meat? Imagine if George Washington and Abraham Lincoln would have said, man, the best part of waking up is Big C in your cup. It only comes in one size, extra large. What's the coffee cup gotta be so big? You can make it big. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Davy Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? As Washington and Lincoln said, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee. You rumble, young man, rumble. Why does this cup gotta be so big? My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. You know, any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help, because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you, on every Big C Sports show, why does the cup gotta be so big? We thank you. We appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day. Why does the cup gotta be so big?